All right, let's talk about the lighting precedent analysis assignment that's coming up. And of course, it's coming up really fast because this is such a compressed semester. And basically, what I'm looking for you to do is take a look at an existing project and see how they used lighting to enhance the design, and then annotate some of the images of the project to really break down some of the exact kind of lighting strategies that they used. And there's a whole shopping list, and I don't need to go through each of these, but let me show you some examples. And these actually happen to be from the semester that COVID came out. It was a brand new thing, and so we went online. So everyone did an electronic presentation, and so it's an electronic linear presentation. And some of the elements that the students did were probably best for a board, but they broke it down into a linear fashion. And also they presented these. There's no audio on this one because we presented them live, but you can also record, or you will also record the audio, and I'll assign you a project that you can look at. So here's their project. It's in, where is it? London, I think. European Bloomberg. Yeah, London. And they have a number of features that they've used, including this very unique skylight feature. And so what she's done is she's indicated where it is, shown what it looks like in a number of different views. And of course, the article discusses it. It's an article from a lighting magazine. So of course, they're very excited to talk about the lighting. And you can see she used a fun arrow to annotate where the lighting techniques are and what they are. So lights at the floor, uplight the curved wall, which you can see, but by pointing an arrow to it and saying what it is, it's basically trying to get you to articulate the strategies that they used. That's the big thing. These are all different strategies, and there's a million different strategies. Decorative lighting, sparkle lighting or sparkly lighting, ambient lighting, which is just lighting to fill the space with general light level and mood, and then task lighting, which is meant to light a specific spot. In this case, a absolutely giant table. Hopefully hopefully it's not like they're having dinner, because boy, talking to this person at that end and the other one way at the other end would be pretty impressive. But anyway, the whole idea is that there are these different strategies, basic strategies: focal glow, sparkle lighting, ambient lighting, and task lighting, and decorative lighting. And each of those can be used in any project. And just taking a look at what they did. And here, let's see, there's a couple of other features. I won't go into every single one, of course. But here's that same conference room table. There's a decorative aspect to those pendant lights in addition to downlights. But they also did some interesting facade lighting. And I think a lot of times interiors projects, we forget that sometimes you can see those projects from the outside, and that is sometimes a really dramatic thing. You can imagine walking along a street at a dark evening, having an interesting interior lighting effect can draw your attention from the street. And that's particularly important for certain project types, retail, but also any type of project that wants to create a kind of monument to themselves, or gather attention, or make a statement. So anyway, there are some technical features. The CRI, the Color Rendering Index, which we talk about in the lectures. You may or may not be able to find the CRI of the fixtures nowadays, because LED is pretty much used everywhere. You're either going to have one of two color temperatures, color rendering indices on your lighting: 100 for daylight, and probably in the mid to upper 80s now with LED lighting. Your typical LED is anywhere 85, 88, 89. You may not be able to find the exact number. And color temperature, CCT, correlated color temperature, that's a little more tricky. But again, I think in the lecture where I describe this, I talk about cool white versus warm white, and also, of course, things like skylights, north-facing cool sky. That's a very cool color temperature, 6,000, 7,000 degrees Kelvin. Whereas your typical office lighting is going to be in the 3,500 degree range, And intimate lighting is going to be in the 27-2800 range, things like incandescent lamps or warm white LEDs. And sometimes some office projects use differences in color temperature more than others. For example, in this case, the warmer color temperature of the light under the stairs is actually quite nice because it matches the materials of the stair, whereas the skylighting is quite cool. So you get a nice comparison, a nice juxtaposition of the cool light and the warm light. And finally, she does some more annotated diagrams here. Again, it's so hard to find those lights. She actually, I think she might have done that. I can't remember if she did this in Photoshop or she just did it in PowerPoint. A couple students were real PowerPoint aficionados at that time, but she just drew cones of light representing the direction of the light in different light sources. And PowerPoint, if you're into PowerPoint, it allows you to draw gradients, or you can open it in Photoshop and draw the gradients in there. And but that really, by accentuating the light, I think it makes you think about where the light is coming from, how does it diminish over distance, and what effect that might have on the architectural geometry that it's lighting. So finally, I'd like you to do a section through some piece, through some detail of the lighting. Now, she chose this very interesting kind of step light that they have in this project, where they lit both the stair part that you walk up and the underside of the stair with a kind of concealed light. And of course, I can help you with this, or there may be drawings in the article that show you some of these details. But what she did, and I think that's what happened in this one, is she looked at some drawings that they had of the project and figured out which way the lighting was going, and then she just drew some gradients in to represent where those light sources are. A solid brick of gold color representing the light source, and then a gradient representing where it was going. And of course, the slope of the stair going behind it. So, and of course, she had some references, like with all of these projects. It may be that the article is all you need, but just Googling the project will often get you some additional photos. In particular, it's nice to have good photos because we're very visual people, and I want you to annotate photos. So that's a good example, and I won't go into too much detail of the second example because it's much the same, but a different project. This is, I don't remember where this project, Dubai, there we go. Mandarin Oriental. There's actually a Mandarin Oriental in Boston, which is very nice too. They're very good with design. But again, she diagrammed out the different kind of layers of lighting, the different strategies that were used, downlights, daylight, focal glow, decorative, ambient, sparkle. All these layers are present in this project. And then she starts to talk about the CCT. And again, we're kind of stuck using photos. So what's interesting is this photo looks much cooler in color temperature than the previous one. I'll go back to that one. That one looks much warmer. That was probably at night, so she probably is right that the color temperature is different here. But and it may be that it's variable too. That's also possible. But here it looks quite cool. Anyway, here I'd say it's a warmer temperature, probably in the 3,500 degrees Kelvin range. It looks pretty warm. Anyway, but again, our cameras lie because they adjust the color temperature. And she drew a section through the base of this little water feature to show how they snuck in the light source right next to the kind of vertical surface here. And this is what I'm looking for, a simple diagram showing the geometry and how they sneak light sources in. And in fact, that's one of the fun parts about looking at these projects is they sneak light sources in everywhere. And it's quite clever. It's not the good old days of just a light bulb inside a glass sphere are gone. Now, thanks to LED and their unique characteristics and tiny geometry, you can sneak lighting in everywhere. So, and your project, I'm sure, will have lots of fun examples of this. And she did, here's another one where they bounced lighting off of this kind of soffit feature, vertical aspect of a soffit. So anyway, and there's one last one here. I guess I can zip through it here, but same thing. There's a theme going on here. They talk about the design ideas that the architects were working with, and then how they came about it. And of course, these are PowerPoint slideshows. So she went and used the fun PowerPoint slide arrangements. In this one, they did an interesting kind of giant wall that had changing color temperature, which kind of changed the conditions in this cafeteria, just to give people a sense of the circadian rhythm going throughout the day. It was kind of an interesting design idea. And they did this using adjustable LEDs which you could adjust the color temperature during the day. So anyway, and again, she did some little diagrams of the different light sources. I believe these were decorative lights. So sometimes they glow, sometimes they hang down and point down. And here's one, I was talking about a dramatic exterior view. This building really wanted to shine in the middle of the street, very dramatic. And it's actually a healthcare building, which is kind of interesting. London has a lot of really interesting buildings, a very powerful historic context too, so kind of makes quite a statement. And you can see here, she annotated these diagrams again, pointing with arrows and describing what she's seeing, trying to parse out what did they do, what were they trying to do, what are these lights, what lighting effect is it, or lighting layer. So anyway, and some simple diagrams. I think she might have been a PowerPoint diagrammer. I can't remember. I think it might have been. This group had a lot of funny ones. So anyway, there you go. There are some examples. I won't go through every one, but there are a lot of nice projects. So what you'll do, I will assign you a project, and you should read the article and break down all the different lighting techniques in a similar way here. If you need to search up additional information, either from the architect's website or just from good old Google or Bing or whatever your favorite search engine is, by all means. And there'll be a draft of this project. And if you have trouble parsing out what the details might be, I can help out with that. And there you go. Look for the link to the article in the assignment on Canvas.